tell you, when you are in a car accident where your car is in the air rolling,
he's not gonna stop, so I floor it with the gas.
you got bit by a coked up rat.
Yes. My parents didn't even recognize me coming off the plane.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special day. This is the beginning of a brand new series going to be called Conversate with Nate, episode number 1. So for the grand opening of Conversate with Nate, we are here today with my guest, my high school best friend, Kyle Feldman. Live studio audience, clap it up, baby. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for Kyle Feldman. Woo! Yeah!
It's so loud, I can barely hear you.
Alright, guys. Alright. So, freshman year of college, right after high school, Kyle decided that he was going to attempt to go to college down at the University of North Florida.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy and pretty intense, considering it was his first semester of college and all of our friends were all going to school around here. So we didn't really know what to expect. We knew Kyle's family and himself really love Florida. They're down there all the time. So I kind of figured he'd enjoy it down there. But we really didn't know what to expect. And it ended up being a pretty crazy semester for Kyle. So we're going to let him get into what happened down at the University of North Florida.
I loved going to a new environment, a new college, where I could be somebody that nobody knew who I was. I thought that was really exciting. But then you do it, and you're down there, and you're all by yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just you, and you gotta figure out how to talk to new people that you've never met before, that have had new experiences that you've never heard of. Like, my roommate would go surfing.
Okay.
And so I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to try surfing.
Yeah.
Tried it. I've never eaten more in my life. Oh my god, dude.
Was it hard?
Oh.
Because you ski, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it would be more similar to like snowboarding or like skateboarding, but
it would be closer to snowboarding.
it was really difficult.
But it's okay, so it's almost like boogie. It's almost like you're boogie boarding.
Yeah.
But then you gotta stand on the boogie board. And then you gotta ride the wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No.
Dude, that wouldn't even be the part that would like piss me off. It would be like paddling out like way in the ocean. Dude, that would be so tiring.
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
then trying to like find the wave and the timing.
That's like snowboarding, but having to walk back up the hill after you go down the hill.
Yeah. Exactly. It sucks.
But yeah, that's gotta be hard to go to a school with, what was UNF's population? Like,
well, it was 20,000, but
20,000.
What was it? Probably 2,000 lived on campus.
Yeah.
So it was a very remote college.
Still coming from a town like Livonia that had a graduating class of 120, that must have been like,
yeah, it was way different.
Great. I remember my first weekend at college, I called home and I was like, Mom, come pick me up. I got a ticket. I got an open container ticket my first weekend at college, and I was like, Mom, come get me, like I'm done here. And you can't do that. Your mom and dad and family are 20 plus hours away.
Yep.
Like if you know, are in trouble or something happens your first weekend at college, what do you do?
Right.
You know, you get hurt, you go to the hospital, what happens? You know, you don't have your family there, you don't have anybody there. And if you don't make friends, who do you have?
Nobody. Nobody. You are screwed.
That's scary, dude. For a 18, 19-year-old kid.
It was intense.
Scary, bro.
It was really intense. It was around homecoming weekend when I realized I just couldn't do it. I wanted to go home so bad. I called my parents and I was like really looking into transferring. Yeah. I already applied to UB in high school and I got in, so I was like, maybe I could go there. My brother was talking up how the research university at UB is phenomenal, so I looked into it and I realized they have the program that I've always wanted to do, pharmacology.
So what were you majoring in at UNF if they didn't have pharmacology?
So what I wanted to do was I wanted to go into chemistry. I basically wanted to do medicinal chemistry, where it's almost the same thing as what I'm doing, but I would be working on compounds of the drug. Like I would be working in the drug discovery process, but I would be making the chemical in the very beginning before they know at all what it does.
So that is it's related to what you want to do, but that wasn't exactly what you want to do. Pharmacology is exactly
right. I always loved chemistry, and I always wanted to do chemistry, but I'm more fascinated at how it affects the body and the human itself, rather than only doing chemistry itself.
So almost all signs pointed to come back to New York. It wasn't just
pretty much
homesick. It was this school doesn't even have the program that I want to be in.
Yeah.
So pretty much the only reason I'm hearing that you were down there is it's Florida and it's 80 degrees all year round.
Yeah, and I actually realized I don't like that. I love seasons.
You like the seasons.
I realized I love seasons. I love the fall. I love the cold weather rushing in. Honestly, that's weird, but I like it.
No, I understand.
I love the change.
I completely understand it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's keeping me from moving somewhere down south is I like having the 4 seasons. I don't like it being 110 degrees in the summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a vacation to somewhere like that is completely different than living there.
Exactly.
So you have to really figure out if you want to do that or not.
Were there any other factors that made you decide I want to come back to New York?
It was mostly friends, opportunities at UB, and being able to see my nieces grow up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's some good reasons.
I was so sad not being able to see Tessa grow up. I had to.
Yeah.
She's my favorite person in the world.
Yeah.
I had to see her grow up, you know?
Yeah.
I couldn't miss that. So when I went to college, I bought an entire case, it was probably about 60 cases of ramen noodles, a couple bags of chicken nuggets, and yeah, that was about it, all that I bought in my room. And so every day, for lunch, I would eat 2 packets of ramen noodles. At night, I would have chicken nuggets, and in between there, I would have Panda Express.
Honestly, I would say that's surprising, but it's not, because typically when people go to college, there's the freshman 15.
Right. Yeah, I had the freshman 25.
Except,
yeah,
it wasn't your whole freshman year.
No, it was 2 months. I did that in 2 months. I gained 25 pounds in 2 months. Yep, and then I stepped on a scale and I was like, I'm 170 pounds.
And what were you were like 100 and like what, 40? Like,
yeah, I was 145 going to college.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about, give or take.
So,
but yeah.
I remember freshman year, I remember over winter break, you came home because you were officially like done at UNF and you were going to UB next.
Yep.
And that was about 3.5 months of college.
I was transferring, yeah.
And I saw you for the first time and I was like, who the hell is this kid?
Yep.
I didn't even recognize. I'm pretty sure you weighed as much as me.
Yeah, our buddy Max, we went to a party and he was like, dude, did you just come out of the mountains for 3 months? What happened to you? My parents didn't even recognize me coming off the plane. I grew out my beard entirely for probably 3 months. I never got a haircut for the entire semester, and I ate all that food that made me giant, and my parents told me they didn't recognize me coming off the plane.
You were a real life mountain man.
I was a mountain man. I went to Florida, was in the swamp for about 4 months, came out, and I...
See, that's crazy to me, because when I think of like Florida and like colleges in Florida, I think of people that go down there, they want the beach body, they want the, they go down there, they want to get tan, they want the 6-pack, like they want all that. No, dude, Kyle went down to Florida and it was straight ramen and chicken nuggets. So you go on to apply, you were already accepted to UB.
Yeah.
So you started UB in the spring.
It was a smooth transfer. Yeah, I was trying to find housing actually, and that was the hardest part because, well, so you have singles, doubles, triples, and quads, right? Mm. So I was trying to join one of those empty spots that happened to be there, and I saw what was called a value quad. Yeah. And you would think a value quad, oh, that's 3 people in a quad because it's valuable, right? That makes sense.
Well, when I hear value quad, I think it's a quad that is priced cheaper for some sort of reason. Like, you get a good value.
Well, actually, yeah, that's basically what it was. So I was in a triple with 4 people. That's what I joined. I was in a bunk bed with a man that was 6'10", about 350 pounds on the bottom bunk. And that was my life for the next semester.
So how was UB with, like, classes-wise compared to UNF? Because I know you said that UNF was relatively easy because the professors really didn't care as much.
Yeah.
How was the transition to UB, especially into the pharmacology program? Because pharmacology seems like it'd be a really difficult field.
Right.
So how was that workload?
Yeah, well, I mean, you actually don't join the major until your junior year. So from freshman year and sophomore year, I was doing the PreRec classes. You take your casual physics, organic chem, Chem 1, Chem 2, Bio 1, Bio 2. You take...
How was Orgo, dude?
It was honestly my favorite class.
Really?
Of all time.
You're like a super like chem nerd.
Yes, I love chemistry.
So
favorite class. Organic chemistry was so cool.
Because I remember if I would have stuck in the program that I was originally in Cortland, I would have had to take Orgo.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I'm not excited because I like chem, but like everybody like hyped up Orgo as like a fucking super like difficult class.
Yeah, it was really hard, but I loved solving those problems, so it didn't really affect me. The only classes I didn't like were physics.
Yeah.
God, that class was awful.
Yeah.
That was such a hard class.
Yeah.
Just because it's just not how my brain works. Like, it's all chemistry.
I feel like physics sucks unless you're a freaking physics major.
Yeah,
you know
I would say physics is probably the hardest major you could do. Period.
Yeah.
Like, those are the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
The people that were able to do physics like nothing.
Well, you got through it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was just physics 1 and 2. I got my C's and I moved on.
Yeah.
You know,
C's get degrees, baby.
Yeah. God, yeah. But I mean, other than that, once I joined my major, I eventually, took the major courses. I took biochemistry, human physiology, and I loved all the courses. So I realized that this is really what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I started taking my drug action courses, learned how drug works in your body, and that was fascinating. I learned about the
cool.
chemistry of drugs. Learned all about it.
That's
super
awesome.
fascinating.
For like a chem nerd like yourself, I feel like that would be like the ultimate like.
Yeah, it was all coming together. Chemistry, drugs, loving it all.
That's cool.
Yep.
So when did you start taking like clinical? Is it called clinical? Is that what it's called when you like? So when you transition from just classes into actually doing like lab work and like working for like the
the university,
like actually doing the work, instead of just sitting at a desk and.
The way my program is set up, you do all the courses, right, and you get into the major, and your junior year you're in the major, and then you can decide if you want to essentially go into grad school or not. They gave us an option to do this combined program where it's a BS and an MS. Okay. So right now when you go into your senior year, you're still taking your bachelor's courses, but I'm also doing research which will go towards my master's thesis.
Okay.
So once I do these, so right now, at the end of the senior year, I'll have my bachelor's courses, I'll finish my bachelor's degree, I'll have that. Mm-hmm. And then next year, I'm going to finish the master's thesis, and then I'll have my master's degree where I can go and do whatever I really want.
So it's only a year after you get your bachelor's to finish your master's?
Yeah, it's similar to like I don't know. It's a combined program. They mush it together. They take the 2 years after when you would usually do your master's program after the bachelor's, and they just kind of shove it in there.
Into like half into your senior year and half.
Yeah, where you're doing both at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a 5-year program.
So it's almost like an accelerated type of program.
Exactly.
That's cool. When you started doing your like hands-on work, did you have that same like passion for it that like you did when you were doing like the classroom work? Because I realized that's when I realized that I didn't like what I was doing, is when I transitioned from just classroom work into like, okay, you're doing your clinicals, it's all hands-on, everything is in front of you, and that's when I was like, I don't really like doing this.
Completely.
I like the like homework and the classwork, but in like terms
but then
of
actually doing what you want
in terms
to do.
Of like hands-on stuff, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, so that actually relates to my brother, because when he wanted to go for pharmacy, he was in his sophomore year and he got a pharmacy position as a technician, and he was doing the job of filling the pills, collecting everything, doing that type of paperwork, and he realized he hated it. And so he completely switched to electrical engineering and had to essentially almost start over.
Yeah, did a complete 180.
Yeah, he had to go an extra year he had to go 5 years to finish his bachelor's. So when it comes down to me, I realized how much I loved it when I was in the labs. Like, I loved doing the Chem 1, Chem 2, Orgo 1, Orgo 2.
Yeah.
Even the biology labs,
Yeah.
I enjoyed them. And then when you get further ahead into your junior year, they throw you in a pharmacology lab where you start doing assays similar to what you would do for cells. And we looked into how chemicals affect livers in rats.
Yeah.
Which was fascinating, and I loved it.
Is that when you started doing when did you start doing the cocaine with the rats?
That wasn't until the following summer. So I did that lab. That was a 4-credit course that I took that you have to take for my program. So when I realized how much I loved that course, I started emailing professors about drug addiction in preclinical studies.
Yeah.
And so once I found a lab that was willing to let me do that, I started immediately, and it was about May this past summer, and I loved every moment of what I was doing.
And what is that like? How many, like, what are your hours look like, and what are you doing?
So we'll usually start experiments at 9:30 a.m. and then we'll usually finish at about 4 to 5,
So
depending.
it's like a typical 9 to 5. It's just you're doing you're doing the same research on the same type of thing for like an extended period of time.
Yeah, so each experiment is about 3 months. So it takes us about 3 months to complete an experiment that we're trying to find the answers to.
So for those 3 months, you're doing an experiment. You're doing the same experiment for those 3 months.
Yeah, well, we actually have almost subsets of experiments. So we'll have our major idea of what we want to find. Let's say we want to see how cocaine affects this specific part of the brain. Mm-hmm. But we'll also look at how maybe the compound that we have that reduces cocaine reinstatement, we'll take that compound and we'll see how it affects other behaviors. So we can look at the anxiety behavior, we can look at how it affects their locomotion, how much they move. Okay. We can look at, there's all sorts of paradigms. So we have these, we put them in these apparatuses that get them to essentially get a drug reward.
The animals.
Right. And so one time I was taking them out of this apparatus, and when they feel cornered or they feel like very defensive, they'll bite. Like
most animals.
Yeah, most animals, that's a natural response, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was I was going to grab its tail and bring it out, but no. What I was going to do was I was going to unhook it from the apparatus. Yeah. I pressed too hard on its back. It immediately turned around so fast, it bit my finger, and I was completely gashed and bleeding like crazy.
So what was, at this point, like, had you already, it was a what, rat?
Yeah.
So at this point, you had already fed this rat cocaine?
Yes.
So
it was on, yeah.
You got bit by a coked up rat?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah, he bit hard.
So was there did you grow an extra fucking foot or something?
No, but I did have to fill out paperwork. Yes,
just very specific. Just in case, it's a liability.
Just in case I happen to develop, what's it called, rat bite fever?
Some sort of mutation. That's an actual thing, rat bite fever?
Yeah, you can look it up. It's your finger gets all red and you get a very bad infection and you have to go to the hospital. So you don't want that.
Dude, I would have been so sketched out. So nothing ended up happening.
Yeah, nothing usually happens. They're very clean. We keep very good care of them. We change their cages every week and we keep them healthy. We have to keep them healthy. I work with veterinarians so that happens.
Oh, really?
I work with veterinarians, vet techs.
That makes sense.
It's all a big, great system.
Yeah.
So
you gotta feel a sense of satisfaction when you complete an experiment that takes, upwards of 40 hours to complete.
Right.
Like I was saying, it's not a Chem 1 experiment where you're just putting two chemicals together and it's turned blue to green, you know?
Yeah. Well, the thing is about what I love about what I do is being a scientist in the field that I am, working with animals, you almost never know what's going to happen because nothing acts the same in any scenario.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to replicate anything, so it's almost like we don't know what's going to happen.
So it's like almost every experiment you do and everything you do is almost like it's groundbreaking. Because
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
we're
something
actually,
could happen that could, you know, save a shit ton of people or solve a big issue that needs to be solved.
Yep.
So
I mean, I'm in the drug discovery process, so we're trying to come up with compounds that we don't know what they do, essentially. Like, we have a good idea, and we make our hypothesis, and we have these plans, but we don't know how the data is going to come out. We don't know what conclusions are going to come out from that. And so what happens is we'll get those conclusions, and then we'll move on and come up with ideas for the next experiment. Hopefully they're good enough to get a grant, which is the amount of money you need in order to do the experiment. So,
So you, how far into the experiment do you have to get, and how successful do you have to be able to get that grant?
Well, it depends on the entire experiment. So they'll give you the money to do that entire experiment that you say you're going to do, and then you do it. And then from that, you come up with new ideas and new thoughts of how you're going to go about in the next experiment to answer the new questions that pop up, because that's granted going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you almost, it's almost like you're trying to sell your experiment before you even do it to the people that are going to give you the grant.
Yeah.
So you kind of just hope and pray sometimes that they're going to give you the money, and if they don't, you can't run the experiment.
So how does that kind of work? Do you like basically propose to them what you're gonna do, and you almost have to like sell it to them, like so you're almost a salesperson in a sense?
In a sense, it's close. Yeah, my professor will do all of that. He'll come up with the it's almost like he'll do almost a research paper of what we're gonna do, and then he'll give it to them, and then they'll look at it. They'll be like,
so that research paper that your professor writes to be able to obtain the grant, is that, so you don't do that right now because you're just kind of learning how to like do the process, but eventually once you find a job and start like working, is that going to be your job? Because that's like the head guy, right? That's the guy that overlooks everything. So is that eventually what you want to do, is kind of be the head guy that overlooks everything?
Yeah, and in order for me to do that, I have to get a PhD, so I'll go to another school.
What does the master's get you?
It gets me into a better PhD program.
So the end goal for you is PhD?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought master's was just the end.
I thought so too, but actually over the summer my professor was talking with me, and he gave me basically in different ideas of what a PhD does versus what a master's student would do and how that degree would differ. Basically, if you get a PhD, you can go out and you can do your own experiments, but if I were just to stay as a master's degree, then I would have to work under somebody and do their experiments basically for them.
Okay.
And
so you get more freedom with a PhD.
Exactly.
And that's your end goal, right?
Yeah, I want to do my own experiments.
You want to be able to come up with stuff that you can research.
I want to do the groundbreaking studies.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I was going skiing, and me and my buddy Zach, our buddy, we like to go skiing in the woods. I got so good at skiing. It was my first year. I loved it, and eventually he was like, "Yo, we should kind of go through trails in the woods."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, yeah, great." And so have you ever seen people go down the trails where it's straight down and you're beaming through trees?
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about though. It's like
it's in Swain, and I was going down Clark.
I know what the Olympic sport where you're bobbing and weaving in between the sticks.
Essentially, but there's literally trees.
But there's trees
every inch that you're going down.
Yeah, that will literally.
And you have one probably good 1.5 to 2 feet width that you can skirt your way down.
And how fast are you going, like down this hill? Like it's a steep hill, right?
I don't want to overestimate, but you're going quick. You're
like quick enough to where like if you hit a tree, like I'm
essentially bombing the hill. So however fast that is,
that's cool. You're going.
You're going pretty fast.
Going
I can't
fast,
turn at all. I'm just avoiding trees.
Yeah.
So I'm going, and at the end there's a sharp left turn out of the trail.
Okay.
And so actually, I'm gonna back up. So there's two spots. There's the part here, and then there's two parts. So when we were going down the first part, I was bobbing, weaving. I hit a tree, kind of get shooken up, and I lose one of my skis. Zach's like, yo, are you good? And I was like, yeah, let's keep going. And so we keep going. We get to the midpoint, we keep going. I'm going dead center. I'm bobbing trees, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to stop because I see the sharp turn and I'm like, yeah, there's no shot. So I'm going, and there's this massive tree. I nail it. I full on go into the tree. There's almost like this patch of just random open snow in the middle of this tree area, and I fall in it, and I don't move. I'm just sitting there.
Like you hit it like head on.
I only hit it with my head. Only
So
my
what-
head.
did you,
And well,
like-
I guess my body, and I just bounced off.
Did you go did you fall like face first into the tree? Like,
I was going, and I hit the tree like almost like that. I was bobbing, weaving,
Were
tree.
you wearing a helmet?
If I wasn't, I'd be dead. I walked into the ski shop to get a new helmet so I could go back to ski. Zach thought I died. He was like, dude, I literally thought you died. And so we go in, I put the helmet back on, we go in, ski into the ski shop, and I try to get a new helmet so I could go back and ski more, because I wanted to go back into the woods and ski more.
Nuts.
I may not have learned my lesson.
You're the only kid to fucking hit a tree going like 20 miles an hour head on, and be like, your helmet was probably cracked.
I walked into the shop, and get this, they've never seen a helmet that I was wearing crack like it did that day.
Oh my God.
They were like, we've never seen a helmet crack like this
Dude,
before.
that would have been your dome if you were wearing a helmet.
Gonzo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, trees hurt, dude. Watch out for them. They'll get you.
Yeah. Don't bomb hills, because when I first started skiing, I was doing that, and there was this warning sign, but it was on the ground, so it was flat on the ground, and I bombed Robinson at Swain.
Yeah.
And I was going down, and I blanked, and I forgot how to hockey stop, because this was like one of my first hills I was going down.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to stop. I just kind of knew how. I totally forgot, and so I just go straight into the sign, fly into the parking lot, eat absolute stones. Got up, just went back to the ski lift.
How old were you when this happened? You had to have been younger, right? Like high school?
15.
It makes complete sense that you were 15 when you hit that tree, because I started snowboarding last year, so I was 21, and even though 21 is still like young,
Right.
when I first started, I was so cautious about like everything. Like I literally
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm gonna like take this super slow,
Yeah.
super careful. Like
Right.
you were like, I went with you, and that was like the third time I had been snowboarding.
Yeah.
And you were like, let's bomb this hill, and I'm like, dude, I literally went down the entire hill on my ass, bro. I would slide off
The
for a
one
couple
with the
feet.
moguls?
Yes. He had me bomb a hill with moguls, and I was on a snowboard.
I didn't know where
dude. Like, bro, if I hit one of those, I would have been gone. So I'm like, I'm my feet are this way, and I sit on my ass. I try to stand back up. I would stand back up. I would attempt to, and it would literally just try and send me down the hill. So I'd sit back on my ass and slide down a few more feet.
Yep.
Dude, so what I'm trying to say is, when you're 15, you don't give a shit, dude.
Right.
Whether it's snowboarding,
That's
whether
fair.
it's skiing, I don't care what you're doing, you are like fresh off puberty.
Driving a car.
You're going.
People are just,
You don't even think.
No.
So like that makes total sense that you would bomb a hill with a bunch of trees in the way.
And then try to go and do it again after you
and then
hit the tree.
and then crack your helmet in two and be like, all right, let's do it again.
Yes.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were this age, if you were 21 years old,
It would have been way different.
and you tried doing that,
Would've
I'd be
been
like,
way-
Kyle, you are
I don't
you are
ski
a
in the woods
different
anymore.
specimen, dude. But if you're 15, I'm like, that makes sense. It makes total sense.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
So.
It's a little intense. But I have now learned my lessons.
Yeah, it only took
okay.
what, 6 years?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, there was this crazy accident I was in. I was at a tee, and I was
car accident.
Yeah, so I was at a T and I was going this way in the T, and another car was coming, and their light just turned red, and mine just turned green. So I'm just pulling out into the T to like I was taking a left turn, so he was coming this way, and so he had his right turn signal on. And this road right here that he was on, the speed limit it was the T of Bronson Hill Road and the gas station. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So he was probably traveling 55 miles an hour, and he had his right turn signal on, so I thought he was turning, and my light turns green, so I'm gonna go. And so I start turning left, and I look over, and I was like, he's going pretty fast. He's not gonna stop. So I floor it with the gas. Yeah. I floor it enough for him to hit my back wheel area, and for him to spin me 180.
Dude, was he literally not paying attention?
He was on his phone.
Dude, that makes perfect sense, because like I understand how like he probably thought that like he was gonna go and there was gonna be nobody coming across.
Yeah.
But like
he had his right turn signal on.
But either way, any normal human being, if he sees a car in front of you, you're gonna smash the brakes, right?
Yeah.
Dude, car accidents are like super scary though, because like anything can happen in like an instant.
Anything.
Because was that your only car accident? Was that?
With another person.
Well, you hit a deer once, but like that doesn't really. I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, we live in New York, dude. Everybody hits a deer at least once in their life.
There was a lot of snow on the road once, and I tried to turn right, and my car just didn't want to, and it just kept
going.
Once
again, it's snow. Everybody gets in an accident with snow.
I wasn't even going that fast. I was maybe going tops 30.
Yeah.
My parents were like, "Oh, how fast were you going?" I was going freaking 25, 30, you assholes. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You freaking losers.
I shouldn't even like make fun of people that are on their phone, because I literally flipped my car. Like,
I remember that. You were on your way to soccer practice.
I had spent the night at a friend's house, at Christian Hill's house, the night before, and we were up like all night playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So I had gotten like, 2-3 hours of sleep, and we had to wake up. We had soccer, we had doubles, we had preseason soccer. So what did we have practice at like 7 a.m.?
8.
Like that, 8.
Yeah.
Anyways,
around there.
I had like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. I was getting up at like 7:30 to go.
Yeah.
I was on my way there, and Tavian had texted me. He texted like the group chat. He was like, "Can you come pick me up?" So I went to go look at the group chat and like to text Tavian back and be like, "I'm on my way." And this road that I was on, this is the reason why I crashed, because this road that I was on, I was driving straight. I was completely fine. This road had like so if you went a little right, it had like a slant.
Yeah.
So even if you went a little right, it was gonna pull you right. Like I literally drive down it all the time, and I'm like, I'm completely fine, and I'm driving down it, and all of a sudden I start to shift a little right, and I'm like, this makes total sense why I crashed.
Yeah.
So I start to go right, and I'm sitting there on my phone, and I'm like, I'm sleepy, so it doesn't register right away that I'm like going right, and how long I'm looking at my phone.
Yep.
So when I look back up, I'm literally about to hit this mailbox, and I'm like, looking back on it, I should have just hit the mailbox. I would have been completely fine.
Yeah.
100 times less damage.
Probably.
So I'm about to hit this mailbox, and I'm like, I'm tired. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I literally just out of instinct, I pull the wheel back left. And when I pull the wheel back left, my car turns like this. Yep. And then when my car turns like this, I go, oh shit, probably should do something about that. So I flip it back right? Yep. I turn the wheel hard back right. My car's like this. When I turn it back right, my car literally goes like this and just like upends itself and literally starts rolling in the air.
Yep.
My car rolled probably like 2 or 3 times. Yep. And dude, when I tell you, when you are in a car accident where your car is in the air rolling, it literally feels like a movie. Motion. It feels like a movie. It feels like you are in complete slow motion. I remember every detail vividly. Yeah. All I remember, because I told this story about probably 1,000 times after I crashed. Yeah. So I finally land. I land right side up. So I'm sitting there at the driving wheel after flipping my car 3 times, right? And it's like 8 in the morning. There's all these cars are like lined up, stopping, rushing over because the kid just flipped this car. And I'm sitting there, and I remember I had like this was on like a Monday, And on that Saturday, I had went to Dick's Sporting Goods and I bought brand new Nikes. Dude, these things had like the fucking, they had the ankle thing, so they came up over the ankle. Dude,
Yeah.
They were sick.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and the only thought that's in my mind is completely blank. Other than, no, it's not, go on your phone and delete the text so, you know, you don't get a texting driving ticket. No, the only thought that passes through my mind is, fuck, did I mess up my Nikes? I swear to God, dude, my car is in fucking pieces, bro.
I guess I'm not one to say, but
literally, my car, if you were sitting in any of the back seats, the passenger side, literally all of it was like you would have been dead.
Except for you.
Except for the driver's seat. I'm sitting
That's
there.
gotta mean
and
something.
The only thing that's running through my mind is, fuck, did I scratch my Nikes? So they call my parents. My parents are literally like about to, it's like 8 a.m. They're about to leave for work.
Yeah.
They fucking come rushing in. They're like, everybody's like, oh my God, are you okay? Dude, not a scratch on me. I'll throw a picture of what my car looked like.
Okay.
Not a single scratch on me, bro. The only thing, they took me to the hospital. The only thing that was noticeably wrong with me is that I had glass in my belly button.
Wow.
That was the only thing. Literally,
Were you not wearing a shirt?
No, I was.
Oh, you were.
But somehow
Okay.
glass got in my belly button.
Oh, because you were.
I mean,
okay.
I was like in the air tumbling like a couple times. But yeah, the only thing, you literally, if you looked at me like in the hospital, you would have been like, why the is this kid here? What is wrong with him? But dude, by the picture,
right?
If you were anywhere else in that car, if you were in any of the back seat, passenger seat,
Screwed.
you would have been dead because it was all caved in.
Yeah.
So, isn't that crazy?
It's got to mean something.
My mom's like,
That's
it
gotta-
literally was like you're being
Guardian angel,
protected
dude,
by
like,
somebody.
Freaking something.
I know. Insane.
Yeah.
I was literally back to soccer practice like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing was wrong. Here's the crazy right? I would have gotten away scotch-free. Like, my car obviously got fucking totaled. But other than that, I would have gotten away scotch-free. No tickets, nothing.
But the phone.
But listen to this. So I'm sitting in the ambulance, right? They pull me out, they bring an ambulance.
Sure.
There's like cops there, obviously cops always come. My mom is sitting in the ambulance with me. It's me laying down on the stretcher.
Yeah.
My mom next to me and a cop next to me. My phone is, or the cop has my phone, or I have my phone, I forget. Anyways, we're sitting there and the cop is like asking me questions. She's like questioning, she's like, were you on your phone? And I go, no. My mom looks at me with one of those like motherly looks.
The glare.
Yeah. She goes, Nathan, tell the truth. I'm like, Mom, you are literally, cause like me, I'm like 17 years old. I don't have the money to pay like a, couple $1,000 fine. I'm like, Mom, you are literally like putting this like fine on you because I don't have the money to pay for it.
Essentially.
So I'm like, you are yourself over right here.
Yeah.
And she says it again. She's like, Nathan, tell the truth. And at this point, I'm like, dude, I'm literally tired. I just flip my car. I'm like,
yeah, you're on.
I'm like,
hours of sleep.
yes. I literally say yes, and that gives permission. The cop didn't have permission to open my phone. Like, she couldn't open my phone without me like saying. So I say yes. She goes, okay. I open my phone for her, and there it is, the half-written text message. She's like, okay. Writes me the ticket. It was like a couple $1,000 fine. I had like 4 or 5 points off my license. I was gonna have to take a class. All this shit, my dad hires a lawyer. Super good lawyer.
Yeah,
I got away. No fine, no points on my license, and I didn't have to take the class. He blamed it on a faulty part in the car. So I got away with nothing. Nothing happened.
Faulty part,
I mean, that's a goddamn good lawyer, but that's a goddamn expensive lawyer.
Yes.
All because my mom wanted me to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I was raised, right? Tell the truth.
Yeah.
So at least we know I'm honest, right?
We got one thing going for us.
Right? All right. That is going to officially wrap up episode number 1. First episode ever of the new series, Conversate with Nate. This is going to be a really exciting series. I'm going to go around. I'm going to interview a bunch of different people. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys want to see somebody in specific. Kyle, dude, thank you so much for coming on. It was really cool to get to talk to you about a lot of these things because I'm going to be honest, I've known you all my life, and there was plenty of things in this interview that I had no idea about you. So we haven't really talked a lot over the past 4 years, so it was really cool to get to catch up and film it and put it on YouTube at the same time. Awesome. Yeah, so that is episode number 1 in the books. Y'all remember to stay focused, keep working hard, and above all, keep chasing your dreams, because you know I'll be right here chasing mine. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.